Personalizing the Employee Learning Experience with Totara. And I'm very pleased to introduce today's speaker, Mark Benton. He's a senior sales engineer with Totara, and he is going to guide us through this demo. So take it away, it's all yours. Oh, Mark, you might be on mute.
Yes, thank you. Okay, can you see my screen okay? The opening slide? Outstanding. Okay, let me move some things out of the way so I can see here. So, okay, here we go. Well, thank you, Alexander, and a big thank you to the ATD team for today's event. I mean, we here at Totara, we're extremely honored to be part of the your first demo day. So hello, everyone. My name is Mark Benton. I'm a senior sales engineer here at Totara. Today, I'd like to spend this time to discuss how Totara's automation functionality can be leveraged to assist LMS administrators by reducing the burden of recurring tasks and provide learners with a truly personalized experience. Now, I work in sales today, but I am a former LMS administrator. I worked for a major nonprofit in the DC region, had 3 million members, and I ran their e-learning program. So this subject's very near and dear to my heart. So first off, let's talk a little bit about Totara, a little background. So we support clients on a global scale, serving over 1,900 organizations with 20 million users across 47 countries. To do this, our library includes 38 language packs, and that library continues to grow. Our clients fall across a number of verticals, as you can see here. So this slide represents a sampling of our client base across financial, healthcare, government, nonprofit, and other key verticals. Much like I guess that the audience here today is across a number of verticals here. So appreciate everybody being here. Now, the Totara Talent Experience consists of 3 parts. First is Learn. Learn is a powerful and flexible learning management system trusted by thousands of organizations. Second would be Engage, and this is a user-friendly learning experience platform that engages and unites your learners. And then Perform is advanced performance management that drives sustained productivity and skills growth. So let's talk a little bit about Totara automation and your LMS administrators. So normally an administrator is charged with a number of recurring tasks, such as provisioning and the creation of new accounts, and then sending out email notifications to alert the users of these accounts. Maintaining those user profiles. So if there's a change of address, maybe a change in a job role, all those need to be accounted for and updated in the LMS database. Also ensuring their learners are enrolled in the right content. This may include annual recurring training such as safety or DE&I training, but it may also include non-recurring but job-specific training and upskilling. Or maybe you have an ad hoc training seminar that you need to quickly enroll and notify a subset of your learners into. These are just a few examples of the kinds of tasks that Totara was designed to take on, easing the admin's burden and freeing up time to concentrate on what we all wish we had more time to do, and that's building out better content, libraries, and offerings. So how do we do this? We've defined a quick 3-step process. The first is getting the data into the Totara frameworks. So we accomplish this through our HR import tool, which connects your database of record for key information about your organization and your learners. Totara provides frameworks, or think of them as taxonomies like you see in this graph here, for organizations, so you can reflect your specific organization setup. It could be by region, by business unit, or however you'd like to reflect that and record it. There's a position framework, which is similar to organization, where you can define position groups such as, let's say, for example, human resources, and then define the positions underneath that, like benefits administrator, HR manager. Now, you can utilize that position framework to extend the competency framework. So the competency framework allows you to maintain your competency model in Totara, and then assign each of the nodes, each of the competencies by job role, while also providing ways to where your learners can reach proficiency levels within those competencies. The user profile is another import. So this is the key information about your learner you want to capture in the LMS. It's mainly going to be your demographic information, where they at, what job they have, what are their interests, are they members, non-members, that sort of type of information. If there are fields that are not part of the standard offering that Totara provides, you can easily create custom fields to capture that additional information without the use of any coding. These custom fields are immediately available in the platform for use in business rules and reporting. Then we have job assignments. And job assignments bring it all together. It allows you to assign an organizational node, a position, management structures. You can define your manager, maybe an HR reviewer, and then other items to a specific user profile. So job assignments take advantage of the previous 4 frameworks to kind of end the circle of information that you're going to have, on your learners. Now, HR import is designed to connect with your database of record through a direct database connection or through maybe a CSV import. You can easily map your column names in your database of record to ours without any coding involved. Now, some of the platforms we've used with HR import are listed here, and depending on what type of organization you are, if you're an HR group, you may be using an HRIS like Workday or ADP. If you're maybe extended enterprise, or you're a product developer and you want to provide training on your product to your clients, you may be using HubSpot or Salesforce as your CRM. For the nonprofits here, you might be using an association management system like Aptify or IMAS. All of those represent your database of record. That's where your user and your learner information can come from. Through HR import, it keeps our database in sync with you. So now that we have the data in the LMS, we can establish business rules. And this is accomplished through our audience functionality. Audiences allow you to segment your learners based on the information we have on them. So there's 2 types of audiences in Totara. The first one is called a set audience. This is manually maintained by the administrator, where you are going in and adding learners specifically to that audience. The second type of audience is dynamic, and that's what we want to focus on today because it's automated. It allows you to implement your business rules through the use of rule sets, and these rule sets continuously monitor the database for any changes. So if it sees maybe a change in role, it will know to take action on that and maybe add that learner to a different audience based on that role. So your rule set elements, how can you create rule sets? The fields that are involved include the user profile fields, including all of those custom fields, job assignments like we talked about before, including managers, positions, organizations. You can use previous or current learning. So if they have completed one or a series of courses, that can be utilized as a rule set. The inclusion of being in another audience is another way of doing it. So if you want to combine, say, audience rule sets, say, everybody in the state of Texas that is a forklift operator as a position, you may already have an audience set up for Texas, all your Texas learners. So you use that as a rule set, include everyone from this audience, and then filter that down and say just people that are forklift operators, for example. And then finally, there's platform access. So that allows you to use the rule sets last login or first login. Now, you can create multiple rule sets per dynamic audience, such as organization and position. If you want to identify, like I just said a second ago, all forklift operators in the Houston operating unit, for example. If you can't tell, I'm coming at you from Texas. I'm just north of Houston, so I got to use Texas where I can. Now that you have your audience members identified, there's numerous actions that can be taken automatically, such as enrollments into courses, into programs. Programs are collections of courses, or certification programs. Now, these enrollments also include that recurring annual enrollment that we talked about before too. There's various assignments that could be created as well. So like goals, you can assign goals. Totara accounts for both personal and company goals can be created and assigned through audiences. Learning plans, the same way. Roles in the platform, such as a trainer or content creator, can automatically be assigned through audience participation. And then also workspace enrollments. Workspaces are collaborative environments. So you may identify through an audience subject matter experts in a certain field. You may want to automatically add them to a workspace where they can start contributing to that environment. But audiences also support personalization as well. In Totara, you can create multiple dashboards and assign via audience rules. The catalog can also be based on audience participation. So if someone goes to a catalog, they're only going to see the content that's specific to their needs and interest if you choose to use audience-based visibility. Now that the data is flowing into Totara and our audience rule sets are updating their memberships and taking actions, your job as an administrator is going to be mainly monitoring progress. So Totara provides a deep set of report sources that can be customized to fit your reporting requirements. We also support reporting across your organization. So for example, if you have staff managers across your organization that may want to see on a weekly basis enrollment or completions for their staff, it's easy to create that report once, configure it with access and content restrictions so that you can publish that report across your organization and be assured that each of those staff managers can only see their employees that report to them. And I'll show you an example of that here shortly when we get to the platform. So let's talk about a few use cases where this audience functionality can come into play. New employee training. New employee onboards, you may have a series of courses in a program that is your new hire orientation program. You can set rule sets to identify those new hires, automatically add them to an audience. They would automatically be enrolled into that program. You can even go through and set due dates for that program completion as well. New manager training, the same way. Someone has been with the company for a number of years and they've been promoted to a position of management. Now they have direct reports beneath them. You may have a new manager training program that you want all of your managers to go through. It may also include some recurring training. So if all your managers have done their recurring training January 1st, someone is promoted in June as a new manager, you can still go back and ensure that they complete that recurring training through audience participation as well. And then maybe a third example would be providing state-specific guidance. This is where you may want to include a combination of rule sets, whether it's location-based along with their job assignment. So there's no limit to the number of rule sets that you can add to an audience to be able to create those and put them together. So now that I've talked about that quite a bit, let's take a look at it from the site. So what you're seeing now is a Totara dashboard. So this is what a learner or a user, an admin, or will see when they first log into the platform. Now, this is one of my demo sites, so we're showing demo content, and this is like a basic dashboard design. Now, we've got a lot of flexibility on how we can build out dashboards. It's all built using, blocks and widgets, pre-configured functionality that you can easily add to the site, move around, even theme as well. We definitely will reflect your branding, color schemes, and logos and fonts as well through our theming tools. But the key block that I want to talk about in this dashboard today is this current learning. So using audience functionality, it's mainly for prescribed learning, to where if someone is in a job role, there may be job-specific training that you want to ensure that that learner is enrolled in. They're not going to a catalog and self-choosing. This is prescribed training. So they're going to get an email notification once they're enrolled, but maybe they missed that notification. But the first time they log in the LMS, here in the current learning, they're going to see all the courses that is assigned to them. It's going to be right up front. It's the first thing they're going to see on the page. There's other blocks, we provide badging functionality. We have seminar functionality. So if you're doing, whether it's classroom training or virtual type training, we can support calendar and event functionality here on the dashboard as well. Now, I am logged in as an admin, so we're going to go on the back end and talk about, creating and maintaining an audience. So this is the audience interface. I can see here all the audiences that have been created, filter by, are they dynamic or set type audiences. I can build them and deactivate them and still keep them there, turn them on if I'd like to or not. But we're going to add a new audience. And let's go through that first use case. So new hire orientation. So just let's call this new hires. And the type is going to be dynamic. Now, audiences, we have the concept of context within Totara. So we're building this one at the system level, or basically at the top level, but I can scroll down and go to and create category level audiences as well. Role-based permissions, content visibility can all be filtered down at the category level. So you can get very granular in how you want to provide these permissions. But for this, you're going to want to keep this probably at the system level. Now, I'm going to keep everything else as is, but you can enter descriptions. You can time gate it if you want, send alerts for membership entry or exit, enter tags. But if I save changes, then I get a number of tabs. And this is how I'm going to maintain this audience. So the first thing we're going to do is set a rule set. We want to make a member, a user a member when they meet the rule set criteria. Now, this is a new hire. So we're going to say anyone that has a start date in the last 90 days. So once you get to the 91st day, we want to remove that user's membership when they no longer meet the rule set. You can create multiple rule sets and do an and or. They have to meet every one of them, or they can meet just one of them. But let's just add a rule set. And you can see here, this is a combination of different tables in the database, how you can create the rule sets. The user profile, along with, user custom fields that are in the system, job assignments, learning, as I mentioned before, audience, and system access. So what we're going to use here is the first login date. Now, if you have start date come over as a custom field, we could utilize that as well. But in this case, we're going to say anyone with a first login in the LMS within the previous 90 days, add them to this audience. So you approve the changes. And now when I go to the members tab, it's going to show me everybody that meets that criteria and has been added to the audience. Now, from this point, I can start taking actions. I can enroll learners into either courses or programs or certifications. Now, we said this is a new hire, so I'm going to add a program. I have an onboarding new talent category with a welcome and onboarding course or program. When I save this, now any member in this audience is enrolled in this program. Now, we talked about setting a due date. So let's say that I want to set a 45-day due date on this program. I can set here, I can either set it by a firm fixed completion date, but using audience functionality, you never know when they're going to add, come into that audience. We want to use relatives. So here I would say 45 days. I could do days, weeks, months, years of program enrollment date and set time relative to the event. So a new hire starts, they log into the LMS, they're added to the audience, which then assigns them to the program, which will then kick off that 45 days that they need to complete that program. They're going to be alerted within those due dates when it comes time prior to meeting that due date. If they still haven't completed, they will get notifications, and you can even set it to where their managers will get notifications as well. Visible learning controls what they see in the catalog. So this is that uh, audience-based visibility I was talking about, where you can specifically define what learners are going to see based on their interests and needs. You can also assign learning plans. So a learning plan is the ability in Totara that you can go in and create, say, maybe a learning plan for a system administrator, which may include, a number of IT courses along with maybe company mandated courses. You can assign within the learning plan, just like the audience, you can assign goals and competencies as well. But learning plans are predefined, so you can automatically assign that to a learner through audience as well. We talked about goals, being able to assign those, and then also roles. So roles are permission-based in the system. What can you do within Totara? Are you a site manager? Are you a content creator? You may be provided the course creator role or a workspace creator. So let's say, for example, you have a custom field that is capturing your learner's interest. One of those interests may be in DE&I. So you can create an audience that would look at that interest field, look for the term DE&I. If they find it, you can automatically add them to the DE&I workspace so they can start participating in the company's conversation around DE&I and start contributing to that conversation as well. So that's the audience functionality, and you can kind of see how easy to set that up. During implementation, we work with our clients to implement all those rule sets so that from the day they launch, the program starts running. The rule sets manage themselves, basically monitoring those databases. And like I mentioned, the admin's job at that point is mainly monitoring the programs, the completions, enrollments, that sort of thing, and being able to concentrate on building and uploading new content. From a reporting standpoint, we do have a number of report sources available to you to go in and start creating your own custom reports and modifying the ones that are provided. So like if I take a look at this course completion report, these are ones that are already defined in the system. I can go in and edit this. I can run this myself, or I can create my own report. There are a number of predefined report sources, as you see here, and I can filter them by the type. So I can go to course completion, and look at the report source to see what is available as far as the data in there. And then I would be able to go in and create that report, edit it. And let me go back to here, and I'm going to open this one, this course completion. The first tab talks about all the metadata. The second tab is where I can start defining the content that's in here. So much like the rule sets, our report sources combine various tables together. So for a course completion report, you're going to want to combine the course completion table. If I scroll down, you'll see the user profile table. You'll see job assignments, the course table itself, the category it's in, and the job assignments, which allows you to cross-reference a number of tables and the data that's included in there. You can very easily graph information as well. So if it's numeric, you can create different, like a pie chart, and then be able to export those graphs in PDF format. Filters provide you the ability to drill down into that report. But the two I really wanted to get to was content and access. This is what provides you the ability to build this report once, push it out across all of your staff managers or different roles to ensure that the content they see is only what you want them to see. So in this point, I'm going to say show records matching any or all of the check criteria below. I'm going to use visibility rules. And I can say if this is a staff manager, I may want to show record for users direct reports in any of their job assignments. I can also show from a user's organization. So if you have like a division director that wants to see everybody, they may not be the staff manager, the division director, but they can see everybody in their organization and completion criteria. There's different ways that you can filter this access, but then once I have the content configured and the view rules set up, I can go to access. and define who can actually access this report. So in this case, I may want to define, staff managers are the ones that can see this one. So you can see how you can build this report once, automatically push it out. Now, these reports can also be scheduled to be delivered by email. So if you are an extended enterprise and you are maybe selling content to one of your clients, and a manager at your client wants to see completion reports for all their staff, you could create that report once, set those access rules, and then email that report out in either a PDF or CSV format, let's say every Friday at noon, to your client's managers, so that they can manage their, or view how much of your content is being used by their staff. I know we got a few minutes left, so I wanted to touch real quickly too on competencies. So we talked a little bit about the competency framework. Now, this is a learner, Leo learner sample, a demo learner account, but this is his competency profile. Competencies can be assigned in numerous ways. One, you can allow learners to go in and basically self-assign competencies. They can find areas that they're interested in pursuing and assign them to themselves and track them. Or you can allow managers to directly assign competencies. Or the automated way is you can define a competency profile for a position. So if someone has a position of system administrator and you have a competency profile defined, that can automatically be assigned to them. Now, this spider graph is showing you two things. One, in yellow, this is the proficiency level that this user should have based on the role or position they're in. So they may be a fourth-year system administrator. Their critical information seeking may be a level 3, but if I'm a first year, it may only be like level 1. So you can easily define that and display this in a spider graph. Now, the blue dots is the proficiency level this learner has reached. Now, within the competencies, you can define how can they reach higher proficiency levels. You can go in and actually say the completion of courses, one-to-many courses can provide that proficiency level as well. So it's another way of dynamically and automatically assigning content and allowing ways that learners can identify areas of improvement and go in and take that on their own. So, Alexander, are there any questions that Rob was not able to respond to? And I'm sorry, I didn't mention Rob before. I have a cohort monitoring chat for me, Rob Comasanis. You should see him on there as Rob C. Hopefully he's been answering some of your questions.
He has. He's been doing a great job answering lots of questions in there. So one, I'm just going to jump back up. Do you provide an API for connections to databases and platforms?
Yes, we do. We have recently redeveloped our API in GraphQL standards. It allows you to access the key functionality within Totara, like enrollments and user profiles and such. So yes, that is available and we can provide more information if you're interested.
We have lots of folks who are excited about the competency profile feature. And that's something that you can, if you want to customize, does your team offer support if you want to customize or build that out?
Yes, that's one of the things that we work with you on implementation. We will provide a number of workshops prior to actually doing any work of implementing your platform that will work with you to define your business rules for, say, audiences, define your different frameworks, like the competency model. And then we can provide guidance on how to build that competency model out if you don't have it already. But we can definitely help, or implement that into Totara before we turn it over to you.
You just saw this one come in. Does Open Sesame integrate with Totara?
That's a good question. If you can send me an email here, I will get back with you on that. I'm not quite sure.
Cool.
If
All
we
right.
have a couple of minutes, I was going to show some. If you are getting that interest in competencies, this is another site. This is a manager login. So this is where I was talking about assigning different dashboards. So a manager will log in, they'll see some, KPIs, but there's also called a My Team Competency Status Report. I can click here to see view full report. So let's say I'm a manager and an RFP came in, I need to respond to, I need some support on this. I need people that are proficient in business acumen. So business acumen is one of my proficiency or one of my competencies, and I want to identify everyone that's proficient in that competency. I can search. It's going to come back with 4 names. 2 of them are competent under supervision. 2 of them are fully competent. So I can easily identify, okay, I either need to use Anna or Luca to help me write this proposal. Sorry, I thought I'd throw that in there real quick. If there was competencies, I get excited about competencies and all you can do with them.
Yeah, that was exciting. It just goes to show that 30 minutes flies by very quickly, and we clearly only scratched the surface. So thank you so much, Mark, for giving us a sneak peek, a little behind the scenes of Totora's platform. And thank you to all of our attendees who are sticking with us, have great questions, staying engaged. We are going to go on a little break again for 15 minutes before we get started with our 4th demo. But thank you again to Mark and to Rob helping out and answering questions in the chat. Thank you to the Totora team today.